around it. We've heard Syria, Lebanon, and Afghanistan.
Al-Qaeda and other Sunni extremists blew up one of the most sacred places in Shia Islam, the Golden Mosque of Samarra.
The sun will come out Samarra.
Directed at a Muslim house of prayer.
That's what he calls Cheney's head.
Was designed to provoke retaliation from Iraqi Shia.
There it is, Fuzzy.
We finally heard about Iraq.
Iraqi Shia.
With the mosque blowing up.
Received support from Iran, formed death squads. The result was a tragic escalation of sectarian rage and reprisal that continues.
This sounds like Lord
day.
of the Rings.
All made up names.
This is not the fight we entered in Iraq.
The Cedar Revolution. When the trees revolted.
Every one of us wishes this war were over and won.
Yeah.
Yet it would not be like us to leave our promises unkept.
Like us.
Our friends
You'll love
abandoned.
us.
And our own security at risk.
Tell us about the rape rooms.
Here's Eartha Kitt looking fantastic after all these years.
It is still
I thought it was Omarosa from Apprentice.
I hate her.
Let us
She's
find our
mean.
resolve and turn events toward victory. We're carrying out a new strategy in Iraq, a plan that demands more from Iraq's elected government and gives our forces in Iraq the reinforcements they need to complete their mission. Our goal is a democratic Iraq that upholds the rule of law, respects the rights of its people, provides them security.
Wake up, Mr. President.
And is an ally in the war on terror.
And hangs people without their heads coming off.
This goal, the Iraqi government must stop the sectarian violence in its capital. But the Iraqis are not yet ready to do this on their own. So we're deploying reinforcements of more than 20,000 additional soldiers and Marines to Iraq. The vast majority will go to Baghdad, where they will help Iraqi forces to clear and secure neighborhoods and serve as advisors embedded in Iraqi army units. With Iraqis in the lead, our forces will help secure the city by chasing down the terrorists, insurgents, and the roaming death squads.
Hasn't that been what we were doing?
In Anbar province, where Al-Qaeda terrorists have gathered and local forces have begun showing a willingness to fight them. We're sending an additional 4,000 United States Marines with orders to find the terrorists and clear them out.
That's one for each Marine.
We didn't drive Al-Qaeda out of their safe haven in Afghanistan, only to let them set up a new safe haven in a free Iraq.
I think it's a Safeway. It's a grocery store they've opened up.
Now it's time for their government to act. Iraq's leaders know that our commitment is not open-ended. They have promised to deploy more of their own troops to secure Baghdad, and they must do so.
Well, they've been good about it so far.
They will confront violent radicals of any faction or political party.
So far they've got 8 guys.
One of them named Fife.
Restrictions on Iraqi and coalition forces.
Got a bullet.
So these troops can achieve their mission of bringing security to all of the people of Baghdad. Iraq's leaders have committed themselves to a series of benchmarks to achieve reconciliation, to share oil revenues among all Iraq citizens.
Hey, it's Captain Big Ears.
Put the wealth of Iraq into the rebuilding of Iraq. To allow more Iraqis to re-enter their nation's civic life, to hold local elections, and to take responsibility for security in every Iraqi province. But for all this to happen, Baghdad must be secure. And our plan will help the Iraqi government take back its capital and make good on its commitments. My fellow citizens, our military commanders and I have carefully weighed the options. We discussed every possible approach.
He would have better luck with the KISS Army with this plan.
I chose this course of action because it provides the best chance for success. Many in this chamber understand that America must not fail in Iraq, because you understand that the consequences of failure would be grievous and far-reaching. If American forces step back before Baghdad is secure, the Iraqi government would be overrun by extremists on all sides.
Just
we can
like
expect
today.
an epic battle between Shia extremists backed by Iran.
Yeah, if we
Just
don't.
like today.
And Sunni extremists aided by Al-Qaeda and supporters of the old
I'm
regime.
Joe Lieberman.
A contagion of violence could spill out across the country. And in time, the entire region could be drawn into the conflict.
Hey, check your crystal ball. It's happened.
For America, this is a nightmare scenario. For the enemy, this is the objective. Chaos is the greatest ally, their greatest ally in this struggle.
Chaos? Is that Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
And out of chaos in Iraq would emerge an emboldened enemy with new safe havens, new recruits, new resources.
There's Joe Biden trying to use what's left of his hair.
To harm America. To allow this to happen
Comb out.
would be to ignore the lessons of September the 11th and invite tragedy.
September 11th.
Oh, you bastard.
Ladies
You're
and
still
gentlemen,
trying to
nothing
tie
is
it
more
in.
important at this moment in our history than for America to succeed in the Middle East, to succeed in Iraq, and to spare the American people from this danger.
There's half the house getting up.
This is where matters stand tonight, in the here and now. I've spoken with many of you in person. I respect you and the arguments you've made. We went into this largely united in our assumptions and in our convictions. And whatever you voted for, you did not vote for failure. Our country is pursuing a new strategy in Iraq, and I ask you to give it a chance to work. And I ask you to support our troops in the field and those on their way.
Yeah, something could go wrong. We could get 3,000 killed and 20,000 injured.
The war on terror we fight today is a generational struggle that will continue long after you and I have turned our duties over to others.
Oh.
And that's why it's important to work together. So
Isn't that what Jimmy Norton does, turn his duties over to others?
Both parties and both branches should work in close consultation. So I've proposed to establish a special advisory council on the war on terror.
The last one you didn't listen to. You threw out of the White House.
This time it'll be my brother.
For how to position America to meet every challenge that confronts us. We'll show our enemies abroad that we're united in the goal of victory. And one of the first steps we can take together is to add to the ranks of our military so that the American armed forces are ready for all the challenges ahead. Tonight,
here's the draft. Be ready, kids.
Wow. We are now accepting the elderly as well.
Tonight I ask the Congress to authorize an increase in the size of our active Army and Marine Corps by 92,000 in the next 5 years.
We will start and draft blacks and low-income whites.
Look, Ronnie, the lines at the recruiting offices outside are already filling up.
I am emptying the jails into the Marine Corps.
Second task we can take on together is to design and establish a volunteer civilian reserve corps. Such a corps would function much like our military reserve.
Except with Boy Scouts.
On the armed forces by allowing us to hire civilians with critical skills to serve on missions abroad.
Mercenaries!
Master Poe. Good news.
People across America who do not wear the uniform a chance to serve in the defining struggle of our time.
Oh my God.
Americans
this is
can have
hysterical.
confidence in the outcome of this struggle because we're not in this struggle alone.
A man like Dog, the bounty hunter.
A diplomatic strategy that is rallying the world to join in the fight against extremism. In Iraq, multinational forces are operating under a mandate from the United Nations. We're working with Jordan and Saudi Arabia and Egypt and the Gulf states to increase support for Iraq's government. The United Nations has imposed sanctions on Iran and made it clear that the world will not allow the regime in Tehran to acquire nuclear weapons.